Hi, so I'm doing a video because I need to vent about something quite badly. Essentially, what does disability mean? Because at the moment, to me, disability feels like having to come out to people all the time, especially when you're young. The other day, I was in the queue at the chemist because I was wanting to sort out my prescription. Someone come up to me, and I was in quite a bit of pain as well because I was having to stand in the queue and I had my walking stick out. She grabbed the stick of my walking stick, went right up in my personal space to about here, and was asking me why I used a walking stick. I stuttered something about having a physical disability, and I had also managed to injure my leg. And then she went and was talking about how she's injured she's got bad back and hip, and the doctors told her to use a walking stick, and yet she's still refusing. Good for you, lady. I was in too much pain to go without one because my leg was giving way under me. Good for you, but back off, because I had to resist the temptation to push an old lady away from me because she was in my personal space, was grabbing the thing I was using for support, and it's just this feeling of judgment I have had in the past where my anxiety was too high, and when my anxiety is too high, I really, really struggle with public toilets, so I went to the disabled toilet. That way, you know, the sink was in there and everything. I didn't have my walking stick out at the time because I just didn't. It was in my bag. I just wasn't using it at that point. My pain levels weren't high enough. I still had pain levels, but they weren't high enough to be using a walking stick because I don't use one 100% of the time because it's a variable disability. So sometimes I need it, sometimes I don't. Now, when I came out, all I could see was my mum's expression of genuine upset and anger because this old couple had been bad-mouthing me since the moment I stepped in the toilet because I was using a disabled toilet and I probably wasn't disabled. The only reason my mum didn't start a verbal fight of my daughter does deserve to use the toilet, watch your manners, and back the hell off, that's my daughter you're dissing there, was because she knew my anxiety was too high to cope with that. How is it right that that happens? How is it right that people think it's acceptable to diss people and judge people based on how they look? Because I know someone who was walking around today and yet she had a broken back. She had managed to fracture one of the vertebrae in her spine, and yet she had managed to get herself out of bed and drag herself down to the doctors. And yet, if she went and used the disabled toilet, or if she took a priority seat on the bus, she would be judged. Why? Because she looks young. Why do I get judged? Because I look young. And that's the thing about invisible disabilities. People judge because they can't see. Well, what about people with mental health conditions? There are some people who, react to things the wrong way. Some people who, due to either like PTSD, anxiety, depression, or, there's a wide range of mental health conditions and stuff, and some of them can affect your tone. So because if I've heard quite a few times of someone getting banned from a shop without prior warning because apparently they're aggressive. They didn't realise they were being aggressive. They were debating a point. That's all they were doing, debating a point. But because they were stressed out to somebody else, they sounded aggressive, and therefore they got banned from the shop. How is that right? How is it right that they don't think it's okay to first of all just go, "Can you please watch your tone? You are sounding very aggressive with the staff." How is it right to just confront someone like that and force them into a meltdown to the point where it was unsafe for that person to drive home, and yet they had to because they couldn't stay on the premises? How is it right? I have been nominated and am an ambassador for deaf and disabled women in Wales, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what policies can be put in place to stop people judging people like me, people like my friends, people like my family members who have a lot of things going on behind them. And I'm sorry I'm crying, it's just... Disabled people. Let's try again. Disabled people are made to feel powerless. And the thing about having invisible disabilities in particular is that you're even more powerless, because the difference of generally when I'm walking around in pain as per usual, if I use the disabled toilet, is, judgment. I injure my leg and I'm using crutches or 2 walking sticks, or, have some sort of physical representation, like the fact that I've got a compression band on one knee and a knee brace on the other knee, and attitudes completely change. It's, oh, can I help you with that? Do you need me to open the door for you? Automatically holding the door open. No form of judging because you walk slow or taking up a lot of step space because you're having to balance. I've seen articles where someone has compared this because they have Parkinson's disorder, and he gets people treat him very rudely because they assume he's a drunk. And yet the time he uses a walking stick is completely different, and he was just so shocked at how differently people treat him. And I just don't really know how to fix the problem in our society. I don't. Because how on earth can you stop people judging? Because I've had a friend being told that their crutches should be thrown in a canal and they should get a job after that, and the reason that person was on crutches was because she had just had knee surgery. People need to stop assuming people who are disabled or using a disabled toilet or some sort of disabled facility is some sort of scrounger. You have no idea, to those of you who watch this and don't have any disabilities, you have no idea how draining it is to deal with other people when you go out. Because you get the people who treat you like you're stupid or something. Oh, you're so brave for coming to the fair when you're autistic. Thank you, you have just completely made what I've done feel worthless. To be honest, I now have been made to feel like some sort of stupid person, to be perfectly honest, who can't even manage to go to a fair, and it's amazing I was able to. You get those people. And you get the people who just judge, think you're a scrounger. I'm not a scrounger. And it's just so hard to try and find a way for people to understand. Because the problem is, I know that people can abuse the system. I know it's possible. And I don't know how to make the system more accessible for those with hidden illnesses and whatever. Because assessors don't see everything. So when someone comes and assesses you to see how disabled you are, they usually get it wrong. And this, there are scroungers out there, and they do put it on, and it's hard to try and work out what the right balance is, because you get people on the telly going, well, we're making the process so that more people who deserve the benefits get them. I know people worse off than me, and they don't get what they should get because assumptions have been made of you can drive a car, so you can navigate. That's not the case. I know someone who can drive a car but can't navigate, and so cannot leave their hometown unless there is someone in the car with them, and that includes with the sat-nav. And I am just so very frustrated of these assholes. And sorry for my language, but people need to back off and stop judging, because I can't see another way to get people to feel more accepted in today's society. And that's all I've got to say, really, because I just needed to vent. Because I currently feel powerless. Because in order to have accessibility options available, you always have to come out. And you want to know what the usual questions are when you come out with an invisible disability. You know, if you're in a wheelchair, it's pretty clear you're in a wheelchair. You can't or shouldn't be able to walk. Or shouldn't be walking, apologies. You know, if you're deaf, you know, you're using signs, so that's the accessibility requirements you probably need. Nope. Oh, you've got that disability I've never heard of. Oh, what does that mean? How does that affect you? Oh, so it varies day by day. Oh, so why couldn't you come to this thing? Oh, but you were fine the other day. And you just want to scream. And I'm just sick of it. And don't really know how else or what else to say. Or how else to say it, because quite frankly, people just need to grow up. And stop being the bully in the park going, oh, you were rude to me, so I'm going to tell the teacher. How about instead, you're sounding very rude and aggressive. Would you like to take a moment to calm down? Just a bit different, isn't it? Yeah, so that's all I've got to say, because I'm just very frustrated and needed to vent. Thank you for watching.